Hello, friends. This is Timothy Kimo Brien, your head instigator for Create Art Podcast, where I bring my over 30 years of experience in the arts and education world to help you tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. So, this year in 2024, I'm doing a series that's called Making Fun a Habit. And that's all part of a book by Michael Brennan, who wrote it. And it's called Make Fun a Habit. It's a workbook that goes through an entire month. And what I've decided to do is take each day and make it into an episode. So there'll be 30 episodes dedicated to this book or focused on this book, actually. And I had Mike Brennan on my other podcast, Find a Podcast About, which you can find at findapodcastabout.xyz. And he has a podcast. It's called Creative Chats. Again, links are going to be in the show notes for you on that, so you don't have to write that down right now. But what this book does is it's a workbook and it helps you go through steps to rekindle fun in your life and get back to where you're most creative. So each day has a different theme. This episode's theme is going to be on being present. Something that I really like that Mike does is he breaks it down into an assignment for you where he'll give you questions, action items, and tips. So basically, I'm going to go through that here for you. And while I'm going through that for you, think about ways that you can be present. So let's go ahead with the questions first. First question is, when was the last time you went on a long walk? What was that like, and how did it feel? So it's been a long time for me to go on a long walk. I mean, I do have my little step tracker attached to my wrist at all times, but it's really been a long time for me going on a long walk by myself. I think I used to do it, probably in 2023, as I would walk around the neighborhood during my workday, just, for about 15 or 20 minutes. And those were nice. Nobody was bugging me. I was able to be alone with my thoughts and really enjoyed that. And maybe I need to get back into that. But for me, one thing that I do is I do massages every other month. And that is 1 hour out of 2 months where I'm just getting myself pampered, where, the attention is just on me. And I usually have a really good time. I have a very good massage therapist here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And that's something I do for myself. And also, I see a chiropractor. That's about 15 or 20 minutes, but I prefer the massage much better. So maybe I need to start going on long walks. Maybe you need to start going on long walks. Let's go on long walks together. Second question is, even if mobility is an issue, where can you spend time undistracted and being in the moment? Again, I go back to my massage. Back in the day, I used to, go to the coffee shops when I didn't have family and other responsibilities. I'd go to the coffee shop and sit there for a couple hours every day or every other day, and just absorb everything that was going around me and going on around me. So that is something that, yeah, I would definitely like to get back into for my own mental health and for my own creative health. Just focus on one thing and not let anything else bother me. Whether it be a piece of poetry or a sketch that I'm doing or a painting, just to be out there. And I'm a weird type. I will admit that right now. I like to be out in public when I'm being alone. I can go to a movie by myself. I can go to dinner by myself. I'm one of those types of people that I can go out there and be just perfectly fine alone myself, or maybe walking through a bookstore or something along those lines. Comic book store as well. That counts too. Third question is, how can being fully present affect your sense of fun and play? So I think with being present and being in the moment, it really affects my sense of fun and play by blocking everything out that goes on in my life. I'm a dad of twins. I have a wife. I now have three cats. The third cat we just rescued. His name is Socks. He lives down here with me in the man cave studio. So you may hear him from time to time in the future wanting to get on the podcast. Again, his name is Socks. So he's pretty quiet right now. I'm crossing my fingers. But I think being fully present really gets me in a better mindset so that way I can accept fun and play in my life. Because sometimes I can get too deep in my thoughts and too negative on certain things. So if I'm here in the moment, not worried about the future, not worried about what happened in the past, but just here with, you know, my writing, with my music, or with one or two people just sitting and talking about things and being present with them and not thinking about the million of other things that I have going on in my life, that gets me in the right mindset. And I think for me, I need to be in the right mindset to have fun and play. So some days I don't feel like having fun or playing. So that can always be a problem, but that's how I get around it. So the action items that Mike gives us is first and foremost, take a few deep breaths. That's something I tell my kids all the time. Take a breath, relax, you know. But it's true when we take a few deep breaths. You know, you can do meditation apps on your phone. You can, or on your watch, or just on YouTube videos. You can do meditation in multiple ways, and that really helps us get present and get in the moment. But the easiest and simplest way is just take a few deep breaths. Think about what's going on right here, right now. When you take those breaths, it gets you into action item number two, which is pay attention to your senses. What are you feeling? Is there tension in your body? Is there something that is not feeling right in your body that could be causing the irritation that is not allowing you to be in the right mindset for fun and play? Well, let's fix that. Whether we need to go to the doctor, the masseuse, the chiropractor, acupuncturist, whatever you need to do to get rid of that irritation, whatever is bothering you, and it could be a health condition, whatever is bothering you, find a way to remove that so that way you can get in that right mindset. Which leads into number three, notice your thoughts and feelings. So I do see a therapist every other month. I basically have what I call a doctor day. See my chiropractor, my massage therapist, and my a mental therapist. And I do that every other month, and pretty much within 3 days of each other is how I schedule it for myself. And it does wonderful things. I'll think about what throughout the 2 months. I'll think about what I want to bring up to my therapist, and it really gets me in tune with what my thoughts are, and it slows them down because my thoughts can go a million miles an hour, and that gets nothing done. And working on multiple things at the same time gets nothing done. But if I'm working at one thing and just worried about that one thing, or being attentive to, not worried, being attentive to that one thing, I feel a lot better. And when I feel better, my mental health is better. And when my mental health is better, my physical health is better. When my physical health is better, then my art is better. The fourth action item is to be curious. Look, if you're watching me on YouTube, look at the videos. I look at the things on my wall, the books on my wall, the records. I've got a PlayStation 4 and a big old screen TV there. I've got art on my walls. So I being curious is not a problem for me. I am always curious. I want to meet new people, as you hear on interviews with this show. I want to see what's working for them and then share it with you. So always be curious. Always be curious. And then the last action item is to let go of expectations. Am I going to be the number one ranked podcaster in the world? Am I going to beat out Joe Rogan? No, I'm not. And I'm not worried about that because that's not my goal. My goal is to do this podcast and have fun doing it and to enjoy doing it and to communicate with you the things that I have found, things that work for me, struggles that I may be having, things that I need to remind myself to get back into to make my art better. But yeah, letting go of those expectations and just, if I'm working on a sketch or if I'm working on a poem, I'm not worried, is this poem going to make me a millionaire? I'm not betting the farm on this next poem or this next sketch. I'm just doing it because it does good things for me when I accomplish a task like that or finish a project. It does great work for me. Again, with the podcasts, my expectation is that I put it out there, and hopefully you reach back out to me and tell me what you like, tell me what you didn't like, and or give me ideas or ask to be on the show. That's my expectation, is just to have some fun with it, to spread the information that I have found that works for me, and maybe help somebody out along the way. And I think it's helping you out along the way too. All right, Mike's tips, and there's 6 of them. Tip number 1: set aside some time each day for play. Put that in your calendar. We all have calendars that we're attached to, whether they're paper, digital, or they're in our mind. Set aside time each day. Make it an appointment where 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever you need, whatever you can fit in, make it a habit. Hence the name, Making Fun a Habit, for the book. Kind of ingenious, I think. Number 2, find a quiet place to play. Find a place where you're not going to be distracted, where you can focus on that playtime that you do need. You need to go see your doctor, you need to go see your friends, you need to, maybe see family, get out in the world, set some time for you. Third tip is focus on the present moment. Don't worry about don't worry about trash day tomorrow. Don't worry about when your bills are due. Don't worry about how is your 10-year plan going. Just focus on what's happening right now. One of my kids has a problem with that because they have ADHD. So they're always focusing on, well, what's, going to happen, tomorrow? What are we going to do tomorrow? Am I going to get to play on this tomorrow? Am I going to get to do that tomorrow? Let's focus on right now. We're here. We're living here right now. Tomorrow will take care of itself. We'll have challenges tomorrow. We'll have things that interrupt us tomorrow. We'll leave that for tomorrow. We have enough to worry about today. And not even today, we have enough to worry about right in this moment, right here, right now, whether it's getting ready for bath or getting ready for dinner or for bed or for homework or for whatever it is. Let's just focus right here, right now. And that can be a hard thing for people to focus on, especially if you have, you're on the spectrum, or if you're neurodivergent or what have you. Fourth tip: be creative. Come on, create art podcast, not creative. Be creative with how you do your time. Maybe you do your time in 15-minute chunks 4 times a day. Or maybe, in one of those chunks, you focus on a sketch. Second chunk, you focus on writing your novel, doing a painting for 15 minutes. Maybe you break it up that way. Maybe that's how your brain works. But find creative ways to focus on the present moment. Maybe you put a big sign up and say, hey, focus on now. And you make that sign with flowers or flames and smoke balls going off. Whatever works for you to get you in that present moment. Fifth thing is to connect with others. There are others out there that are having the same problems that you're having. It's one of the reasons why I made this podcast. I kind of figured other people are struggling with this kind of stuff too. So why don't I go out there and, the things that I've learned in my life, why don't I go ahead and share that out with others? So that's why I do the podcast. That's why I attend conferences. That's why I do poetry reading every Friday night, just to connect with the people out there, connect with A, my audience, and B, other poets, and C, other artists. So make sure that you're connecting with other folks. Get out of your 4 walls. And the last tip is to relax and let go. Just have fun with it. Don't stress it. If you don't get it perfect the first time, don't worry about it. Building a habit like this takes some time. You're not going to get it right the very first time, and that's okay. Nobody is keeping score here. You're the only person keeping score here is you. So if you can stop keeping score, and that's maybe another tip that we should add on to this, stop keeping score and just Enjoy the moment. Don't worry about the next moment. Just be in the moment you're in right now. Enjoy it, savor it, get everything you can out of it. The next moment will take care of itself. We'll, move to the next task at hand when it's time to do that. But right now, enjoy where you're at. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Create Art Podcast, where we're talking about being present and being in the moment. If you got something out of it, please feel free to give me an email, timothy@createartpodcast.com. We have a YouTube channel. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you found the channel. Yay. You can put comments on the channel too for what you like, what you didn't like. But I really want this to be a podcast that services you. So if I'm not doing something that you need me to do, or if you have a topic that you would like me to talk about, or heck, do you want to be on the show? Email me. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. I also have an Instagram account, Twitter account, and TikTok account. Links are in the show notes there. I do run a newsletter. I'm kind of getting away from it a little bit. I need to get back into planning out the newsletter, and I'm trying a few program management apps out to. Well, no, that's the cat. Hey, you guys got to hear from Socks. That's right, Socks. Yes, you're adorable. Anyhow, uh, definitely check out the newsletter. The links are in the show notes. I put it out about once a month. But definitely, if you've gotten any value out of this podcast, please let me know. Shoot me an email, let me know. Or, from the website, you can leave me a voicemail if you so desire. So definitely do that. I want this to be a 5-star podcast, and I need your help in letting me know how it's going to be a 5-star podcast. And feel free to share it with a friend. Speaking about sharing this with a friend, you can check out my other podcast, which is Find a Podcast About, where I help you outsmart the algorithm and find your next binge worthy podcast. You can find that one at findapodcastabout.xyz. All right, well, it's time for you to get on with your day. I need to go ahead and get on with my day. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and I can't wait to hear what you're doing in your neck of the woods with being present in the moment. So go out there and tame that inner critic, create more than you consume. Go out there and make some art for somebody you love. Do it right now in this moment. Make that art for somebody you love, yourself. I'll talk with you next time.